In my humble opinion, children should be seen and not heard. Women should stay home and take care of the children. A man doesn't cry. The man should always be the breadwinner. Women were put on earth to serve men. All of these absurd statements were variations on a theme of the culture that I grew up in. Prejudice, judgment, criticism were a way of life, and no one thought to question why there was so much suppressed rage in society. That is, until everything erupted. If you've been suppressing, judging, or criticizing yourself, it's time to look at that behavior for what it is: fear. Welcome, everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, here with you on Angel Heart Radio. And I want to help you conquer fear. So when we return, we're going to say goodbye to harsh judgments and critical opinions and say hello to love.
Angel Heart Radio programs should not be used to replace your medical, healthcare, or legal advice. Welcome to Angel Heart Radio, where we celebrate you. We celebrate your divine connection. We celebrate your magnificence. We celebrate you as a beautiful being here on planet Earth, sharing your love and your light. We are so blessed to have amazing hosts here on Angel Heart Radio. We fan your seeds of hope and we help you to plant more. AngelHeartRadio.com is our station, and AngelLight777.com is our big sister. All the links, the series, host information, how to visit us, and really how to receive the best from Angel Heart Radio, and a whole lot more besides. Thank you for choosing to be with us on Angel Heart Radio. We're so grateful to share with you. Powered by love, Angel Heart Radio is brought to you by AngelLight777.com.
I promised that I would share with you how to escape from the clutches of fear. But first, we have to take a look at all of the different elements that can cause us to be afraid. Because what I have found after living a life that was so controlled by fear is that there's nothing to be afraid of. As long as I am willing to look at what is for what it is, instead of trying to hide, believing that for whatever reason I'm too small to counteract whatever I believe is coming against me. So the first thing we need to do when we begin saying to ourselves, fear is no longer going to hold power over me, is that we need to recognize that the road to joy and freedom can never be through the door marked judgment, or even its poorly disguised and considered less offensive cousin, opinion. How many times have we been around or been guilty of this ourselves, saying, well, I think, or it's my opinion, and we think that is okay. Well, perhaps it is. Certainly, you're going to have preferences about what you like and what you don't like. But we don't need to cut someone else down in the process. It's perfectly okay to say, I really enjoy a room that is 70 degrees. You don't have to say, I don't know what's wrong with you. Oh, how can you stand it if the thermostat is set at 80 degrees? That wasn't necessary. You can say what you have to say without putting judgment about yourself or another person into the equation. We've got to recognize that judgment and opinion can be harmful acts. please, though, don't go away from this class and say, well, Marcia told me that I shouldn't judge or have an opinion about anything. That's impossible. You are going to like certain things. You're going to prefer certain foods, styles, people. It's just the way it is. It's perfectly okay. All I'm asking you to do is please don't tell someone else that they are less worthy because they don't agree with you. And please don't let me hear that you are considering yourself less worthy because somebody else has an opinion that is different from your own. If anything, those of you who would be listening to me most often, or those of you who participate with me in my classes and in my private coaching, you're empaths, you're deeply sensitive, and you're very concerned about wounding others, but very quick to wound yourself. So please understand. Was it the Buddha that said, if your compassion does not include yourself, it's seriously lacking? You are the most important person in your life. No one else will be with you 24 hours a day for the entirety of your life. Please learn to love that being. No matter what faults you see or that you're in the process of correcting, this lifetime is a growth opportunity. That means you're going to be growing. You're going to be changing the things that you like and dislike. You're going to be maturing. You're going to become, if you decide, more spiritually advanced than you were previously. So, please love this incredible being that's perfect just the way it is. Love it so that it can become even more filled with joy, with love, and with peace. Allow your being to rise up into the highest vibration by not causing it to feel badly or to be pulled out of that vibration with judgment. Judgment will say things like, well, one thing is better than another. And then we may try to cover that up by saying, oh, but that's just my opinion. Like we didn't already cause the offense. Now, I know for me personally that I was always very easy on other people. I'm an empath, just like you, and I can feel what they're going through. So, for whatever reason, I was pretty disconnected to myself, and I used to believe that what they were feeling was much more important than what I was feeling. So therefore, I would be overly supportive of other people with their judgments and their opinions, and overly critical with myself. Now, neither one is good. A balance is the optimal place to be. And I think we also need to remember that when you or another person is busy stating their personal preference and doing so in a way that they are trying to indicate that yours is not as good as theirs or someone else's is not as good as theirs, and they're trying to disguise it as, well, it's just my opinion. Why does it make it any less harmful or more acceptable? Or can we consider that an act of kindness? I think it's okay for us to step out of everything needs to be la, la, la. We've got to be so kind and loving and step into a place of awareness. I want you to be kind and loving always, to yourself first and then to all others. But let's not be completely accepting of those people who are continuing to bring forward hurt. Now, it does not mean that you have to cut them all out immediately. You may choose to do so at some time in your life if they have not progressed. It doesn't mean that you run around correcting them. Just please stop encouraging the person who calls attention to themselves by cutting other people down and then pretending that it's their opinion. Because if we're truly going to be our loving, authentic self, and that's who everyone came to be, there is no exception. And when you get to who you really are, who you are in God, that authentic being, you are completely loving and kind. I don't care if you're masquerading as a mass murderer. Your authentic being is love and kindness. It may be completely buried under your choices in this lifetime, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And it doesn't mean that that is not who you are at your very center. You may be choosing not to express that person in this lifetime, and that's okay, because you, in your own way, are contributing to the growth of our collective consciousness. You're showing us what we don't want to do if you're making choices that include hurt and harm. But you're just as important to the collective consciousness as the person who's chosen to be loving and joyful. The difference is you're probably extremely unhappy, and they are not. So I want us to move into our authentic selves as much as possible to celebrate all that you are. And by doing so, we will automatically share love and kindness. We will choose to only talk about what feels good and what does no harm. I really have noticed in my personal journey a huge trajectory upward, away from the need to gossip, to judge, to ridicule, to criticize in any way, shape, or form. And that includes myself. And I was one of the biggest offenders toward myself. As I said earlier, pretty sensitive to other people, but whoa, could I dish it out to myself? We have to realize it's something else as well. It's not just the opinion, it's that desire to gossip, to say something about another person that, first of all, probably isn't founded in truth, and it's probably not very nice. I didn't look up the definition of gossip, but I would have to say that I'm believing that the definition of gossip is to spread rumors that are not true about someone else to make yourself feel good about yourself or more important or something. So if you're going to share anything with anyone else about a person, share something lovely, share something kind, share something uplifting. Begin seeding the conversation with what you want to exchange. Don't let the person who's negative and focused on belittling others control the conversation. If you can, get away. You're not going to change their point of view. It's very unlikely. If you can't get away, begin steering the conversation in a different direction. I will, if I have to be in a conversation with somebody that is extremely judgmental, and I had this person in my life for quite a long time, I got to the point, not when I was younger, but once I had been on this journey for quite a while, I got to the point where I just began completely changing the conversation. So they would say something like, so and so is completely worthless. And I used to try to interact with them and say, oh, no, they're not. And, immediately defensive. And it just became a push me, pull you battle of just agonizing proportions. Well, as I got older, they would start off with well, did you see what so and so did? And I would just say, did I tell you about the incredible thing that happened to me the other day? Or did I tell you what happened? And I would pick somebody they knew as well. They are so, isn't it amazing how everything is going so beautifully? They never noticed. They were, they just allowed me to lead them into another vein of conversation. So it is possible. It's always easier if we just avoid those people, but if they're in your life and you feel that you need to stay connected to them for whatever reason, then try just changing the conversation. You got to be proactive. Be the boss in your conversations, in your life, with your thoughts. If it's unwanted, uncaring, shameful, and blaming, don't allow it to take up residence in your mind. You deserve to be loved, to be honored, to be complimented, uplifted, supported. And if you need help getting that, remember, we have an incredible community of like-minded people just like you that want to do that. I'm guiding the community, but there are others in the community who want to also be uplifted and be an uplifter. So you're not on your own. You don't have to open your heart and nurse the hurt. You don't have to, oh, poor me, gosh, everything goes badly for me. No, you go out and find some reason to feel good. Anything we focus on will grow. So you don't want to allow the hurt to fester. Bring it out into the light and love it away. Please don't fall victim to the belief that, well, that I can't do anything. This is as good as it's going to get. No. Go out and find something fabulous that you can feel good about. And if you're having trouble, join our community. There's always an answer. I want you to call your mind out when it's committing acts of betrayal and treason. Stop saying, it's okay, or please don't say, I have no power over my mind. My thoughts just come and go. Excuse me, who is doing the thinking? You're in charge. You are the only one in your life that can decide what you are thinking, feeling, or experiencing in your life. No one is more powerful in your life than you are. Become a united front. Align your thoughts, your desires, and your focus with your highest good. It's going to make you a powerhouse of incredible proportion. You will not be able to contain your joy when you realize how incredibly powerful you are when you're in alignment with all that is for your highest good. I want you to continuously throughout your day check in with yourself. Ask yourself some questions. Don't allow yourself to get away with substandard behavior. So I want you to check in with yourself and say, am I judging my ability? And if you are, stop it immediately. Don't just, oh, well, that's okay. No, it's not okay. You're doing yourself irreparable harm. Think of yourself as though you're that mean teacher that everybody can't stand when you're judging and criticizing yourself. Instead, be the wonderful, exciting, warm, fabulous teacher. Be Miss Frizzle. Remember Miss Frizzle from TV? I don't know if she's still on. But when my kids were little, Magic School Bus. She was so fun. She had the best attitude. Okay, so you're probably not going to go on those science trips. You don't have a Magic School Bus. But you can love yourself. You can encourage yourself. You can be excited about who you are. Ask yourself, am I judging my ability? Am I causing myself harm? Am I slowing down my progress or expecting too much too soon? Your judgment, even if you've disguised it as an innocuous opinion, can be doing that. Please understand, lasting change is not going to happen overnight. I know that's not what you want to hear, and I would love to be able to tell you, hey, snap your fingers, turn in a circle 3 times, and poof, your life is going to be so wonderful. But that isn't true. It's a big fat lie, and the only thing that I could offer you, even if you chose to work with me, the only thing that I would ever offer you is that you would immediately feel lighter and brighter. But if you want real change, you must put in consistent effort over a period of time. Change is going to take consistent effort, commitment, and sufficient time. We all know it takes 21 days to change a habit, for things to stop feeling new. If it takes 21 days to change a habit, we certainly have to understand that behaviors, which are just another word for habits that we've rehearsed over and over again, are going to need at least 21 days. And generally it takes longer than that because we slip and slop and get a little lost. Sometimes we fall off the road altogether. So it takes us a little bit of time to reinforce those things which are really good for us. Our judgment or opinion, it's going to sneak in there. It is made up of prior conditioning. It looks like it's innocuous. It's the thing you've been doing for a really long time. You know, most of you that I work with are over 40. That means you've probably been practicing the same way of thinking for 35 years. I'll give you 5 years off in the very beginning of your life to 5 years while you're just absorbing other people's judgments and opinions and belief systems. But 35 years is a lot of prior conditioning that you're going to need to overcome. So please let go of the judgment that says, what's wrong with you? Why are you still making that same old mistake? It's perfectly normal to get going in the right direction and then discover that you've somehow fallen off the wagon. Judgments and opinion wear the disguise often that says, oh, this is the right way or the only way for everyone. They don't ever come up and say, oh, you know, I'm going to cause you a whole lot of pain if you repeat this action or this thought or this belief system. They're disguised. They're disguised as something wonderful. But they're attached to the ego, to fear, And remember, when we are in an ego state, we have pinched, closed, or shut off some portion of our divine alignment. We're not totally in alignment when we're in the ego state. And so we're unable to see the bigger picture at that time. We can only see that little patch of forest that's in front of us. So we need to recognize that you, as you, are perfect, just as you are. We got to recognize that wherever you are is perfect. However long it takes, that's perfect. Your higher self, the part of you that is always connected with the divine, recognizes the perfection of all things. And it sees the perfection in everyone else, including yourself. Never lets out yourself. And it helps you develop the patience that you may feel that you need in order to move forward on your spiritual journey. So I want you to stay focused on the magnificence that you are and that all others are. Then there's no room for condemnation. As I am training myself more and more and more every day to see the magnificence, the goodness, the perfection in the world, the more I am able to let go of any and all condemnation. And that used to be a really big part of my life. Very self-condemning, very critical, very quick and harsh to judge anything that I had done in any, didn't matter what it was, I was going to have a way, find some fault with it. So here's what I want us to do right now. I want to help you release judgment because I know what it's done for me in my life, and I want you to have that same opportunity. So we're going to do a little releasing judgment exercise. As with everything, we're going to be doing this in our energetic state. Now, you can also do anything that I share with you. You can also do this in the physical. But I want you to be able to access any of the tools that I give you for absolutely no cost so that you have no excuses, no barrier, and no reason why you can't do this thing. See, I've been there. I've said all of those excuses. I've delayed my journey. I've made my life miserable, and I don't want yours to be the long, drawn-out journey that I had. I want yours to be a journey of joy. Okay, so here we go. Let's close our eyes and take a deep breath. And as always, let's use the heart breath. Remember our guides, my guides, your guides. When I say my guides, it's not to exclude anyone or to create a position of superiority. We all have guides. Some of us will relate more deeply or be more connected with one energetic stream than another because our guides and the angels, archangels, ascended masters, they're all in this beautiful vibrational space. They have specific energetic frequencies that can help you in certain areas of your life. So that's why we may have similar guides or different guides. If our life purpose is similar, one of my life purposes is healer. Another one is teacher. My guides are healers, teachers, among other things, but they can speak to me in a way that I completely understand because I came with the healer teacher knowledge. Now, my daughter is studying to be a marine biologist. She has different guides than I do, and they speak to her about the uses of her interest in the area of marine biology and how that can become something of value to us as a population. She's been gifted with an internship this summer that's allowing her to do experiments on animals to see how we can do what the animal does naturally, how we can take that ability and use it in for human beings, in surgical procedures, for energy, producing light. It's so fascinating. But when my guides talk to me about something they want to share with her, I don't know the scientific terminology. I don't know the ins and outs of the science like she does. So they just give me very general and tell her, you're going to have to take it from here, or go ask your own guides who can give you the more scientific explanation, because I don't have the vocabulary that allows me to get this information. But give me anything about teaching and healing, and I can get it from beginning to end, because that's what my guides specialize in. So my guides have shared with me this little exercise for all of us to help us release judgment. And they also shared a breathing technique, which they call heart breath. So we're breathing in through the nose, and we are visualizing that breath is on a trajectory right up the nose into the midbrain area. The midbrain area is your psychic center, the corpus callosum, the the pineal gland. But what's that little bridge? Oh goodness. Well, I need my medical anatomy students to come forth. Anyway, it's that midbrain center that we want to give energy to, allow it to become much more pliable and much more active so that we can easily hear and interpret our messages from the divine, from the energetic realm. So we're allowing the breath to stimulate that midbrain center through the nose, electrifying the midbrain center, and then visualize that breath is moving down through the rainbow chute of the chakra system until it gets behind the heart center chakra. And then I want you to imagine that you are exhaling through the heart. So you're sending in this breath of life, of unconditional love, and you are allowing it to move through the heart, where it does the work of helping you release anything that is not serving your highest good. It will make it easier for you to release that which is no longer serving you. Now, I have found that heart breath is not enough. You need to do deeper heart work. But heart breath certainly facilitates the process and makes it easier. So, closing your eyes. Now, let's take 3 heart breaths. Breathe in as deeply as you possibly can. Through the nose, activating the psychic center, releasing through the heart, pushing the negativity, that which doesn't serve your highest good, out of your energetic field. And then when you're ready, I want you to take the energy of the heart center, their energetic heart center and create for yourself a spiritual circle of white light. Allow it to be there right in front of your heart center. It's a sacred space, and it can be as large or as small as you want it to be. But during the period of this exercise, we're going to be doing the work in this circle. Now, what does it mean that it's a sacred circle? It means that you can say and do anything within this circle, and there will not be any pushback, any reverberations that can be negatively impacting on you in any way. You can say what you need to say and think what you need to think and release it and know that you did it safely. So this is a good way to release anger, fear, and frustration safely without having it impact your energetic system. You need to release it, though. If you hold on to it, it will, once you leave the circle and holding on to that fear or that negativity, it will impact you negatively. So this is just an opportunity to take it out of the box that you maybe have been holding it in and take a look at it. So now I want you to stand as though your back is to your physical heart and you're looking outward toward the world, toward the edge of your circle. Now, at the edge of your circle, a whiteboard has appeared. And it can be, again, as small or as large as you want it to be. I would prefer that you get one that's large so that you can write upon it in large letters. Don't make yourself work hard. You deserve luxury in everything you do and say. So allow this circle to be huge. Allow your whiteboard to be huge. Allow yourself to be huge, because that's who you truly are. Now, I want you to pretend that you're your ego. And with the ugliest color you can think of, I want you to write negatively on the board. Start saying all the things, all the negative things that you can think of, particularly about yourself. Write them on the board with an ugly color marker. No pretty colors. Make sure it's ugly. Take as long as you need and write any ugly words, any negative words you can think of or phrases in your ugly colored marker. Now, I want you to look off to the right. Remember, our eyes are still closed. This is an energetic exercise, and you can see the energetic realm more easily when your eyes are closed than you can if they're open. So unless you're extremely clairvoyant and you can see directly into the energetic realm, I would suggest that you do the exercise with your eyes closed. So now you look to your right, and here is Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is responsible for carrying the sword of truth and helping you discover what is true about you, about your world, about your relationships, anything. And here is Archangel Michael. And he's looking at the ego self that you have allowed to write ugly words in an ugly color on your whiteboard. And he lifts up his sword and he cuts the ego in half. Just chops it right in two, because after all, the ego is not real. The ego is not you, and the ego is not an accurate portrayal of who you really are. As the ego falls away, your authentic self is able to emerge. Archangel Michael has released you from your false belief systems about yourself. Now, I want you to look behind you, because you'll see that a beautiful chair has appeared in your circle. If you look at the chair and feel, oh my goodness, that's not regal enough for me, I want you to make it better. But before you sit down, make sure that you love everything about this chair. Make sure it's the softness that you desire or the firmness. Make sure it's the color, and perhaps it needs to be studded with gems. Whatever will make you feel good, I want you to place your authentic self on this throne. Now, as you watch, you and the throne are both going to begin to grow. Your authentic self, once it's been freed from the confines of the ego, is going to get larger and larger because it's who you really are. You are a powerful, mighty being. So allow yourself to grow. Allow the chair to grow with you. The spiritual circle is a magical place where only truth is able to exist. Now, as you're watching, Archangel Michael is going to erase the board. He's taking away all of the ugly color, all of the ugly words, all of the negativity that you used to feel about who you are. Now, whisper to Archangel Michael and tell him, my favorite color is... Think about it. What's your favorite color? What makes you feel wonderful when you see that color? It doesn't matter what it is. He has unlimited access to any color you may like. So just find the color that you love the most. And now I want you to watch as Archangel Michael walks up to the board and with your favorite color, and if white is your favorite color, you can change the board behind it to be any color you need. So don't you worry, you're going to be able to see. Because always, within the circle, you can do whatever you need to do in order to achieve fullness. So Archangel Michael is going to walk to the board and he's going to write the truth about you. And there are certain truths that we all share. Yes, we are unique, but we also share certain truths, and those are, you are perfect, you are magnificent, you are love, you are loved, you have everything within you that you need in order to succeed. Nothing is being withheld from you. God loves you. He believes in you. He sees your perfection. He knows that you are amazing. So Archangel Michael is writing all of this on your board. And your board may need to expand to hold all the wonderful things that you are. And you may even see that Archangel Michael begins to put words on the board that I haven't mentioned that just describe you. So if he were to do this for my daughter, he may put scientist on the board, because that's a good, true description of who she is. But we all share perfection. I guarantee you that you, no matter how you're showing up this day, are perfect for where you are at this time in your life. Even when I was showing up negatively, I was still perfect because it was what I needed in order to move forward and find my place in the world, discover my life purpose. So Please don't spend a minute feeling badly that you're not where you want to be. You are perfect wherever you are. Now you have this board filled with these wonderful, fabulous qualities that describe you. It's all filled with how glorious and wonderful and magnificent and loved you are. And watch now as Archangel Michael takes that sword, taps the whiteboard, and it suddenly transforms into the most beautiful and luxurious cloak that you can ever imagine wearing. I want you to wrap that cloak around you. I want you to hold it up across your heart, across your hands, right across your heart as you're holding that cloak tight to your physical being. It's the color that you think is the most beautiful color in the world. And if for any reason you've chosen a color that you think is not flattering to you, change the color. You are magnificent. You are so powerful. You are perfect. So you can do anything. Anything that needs to be changed, you can change it that way. Right now, I want you to move forward from this circle. I want you to take a deep breath now. Come back into this present moment and wear that cloak of truth proudly, hugging it up to your chest. Wrap yourself up into it. Snuggle deeply into it. And know that this is who you truly are. And anytime anything comes at you and tries to say to you, you're not good enough, or anything that has a hard stop to it that says, well, this is all you're ever going to be, immediately question that. That's a judgment. And growth is open-ended. Growth doesn't say, oh no, excuse me, that's all you can achieve. Growth continues until you no longer want to grow. You don't ever have to fear the question. If you can't answer the judgment call without feeling belittled, shamed, or as though you're masquerading, it's a poisonous opinion, and it doesn't belong in your energetic field. What I want you to do is let go of the fear that you're not going to measure up and know that you already do. I want you to allow love to be the answer to every question you may be asking. Not romantic love, unconditional love that supports your highest good and the highest good of everyone concerned. Unconditional love is incapable of harm because it doesn't see any separation. So anything unconditional love does to itself, it knows it's doing to another, and vice versa. So as a being of unconditional love, I could never go to you and do something mean without understanding that I was going to do that to everyone else and to myself. The opinionated person, the opinion in general, can be corrosive. That person that always feels they have to be right, they're living in fear. They're in an ego battle. They're afraid perhaps they're not as talented or as intelligent or as powerful as someone else, or even as they've told themselves to be. If you really step back and you look at what somebody who is pretty opinionated or judgmental says, it's always cutting down, cutting down, cutting down the other person, trying to make themselves feel bigger or brighter or better. Because ego goals always lack sustenance and staying power. The authentic self, that self that Archangel Michael just helped you free and step into, is not powered by the ego. It is powered by truth and by unconditional love. The ego can only experience unhappiness on some level. It could be the person that appears to you to have everything you want. However, if they have not aligned with their highest good, if they're not allowing the truth that is them, that authentic self, to come forward, they are experiencing a deep unhappiness that you may not know about and they may not be willing to share. But it's going to show up at some point in their life. And then you need to help them by loving them through that period, showing them, as you showed yourself, how perfect you really are. Never fear that you have to best others in order to shine. It's not necessary. If you have the desire to serve in any capacity, you have the innate gifts that in order to do that service. You're not going to need to outdo somebody else in order to be who you are. They can do what they need to do, and you should encourage them. But you can do everything you want to do and be everything you want to be, and still be able to support others. If you feel critical of yourself or others, it's your ego. It may be gasping for breath, but it's still the ego. Judgment is going to keep you from trying because you're afraid that you're going to fail. But here's the weird thing. Judgment can keep you from trying, but it isn't going to keep you from failing. It's not going to prevent you from failing. Fear will always call failure to itself. So if you are in a ego judgment place where you're looking at, oh, Susie's not that great, I'm better than Susie, you're coming from a place of fear, a place where you feel less than. So if you were to try, you may experience some success, but at some point, that fear is going to catch up with you, and you're going to start experiencing failure. Fear, negativity, judgment. It's us just trying to hide, just trying to pretend we're not afraid. The one who's the most judgmental, the most frightened, is the least secure. So when you walk into a room and someone says a critical comment to you, please stop taking it to heart. They don't know better. They're not smarter. They're not better. They're not more talented than you are. They're more afraid. They are afraid that if you recognize who you really are, no one will look at them anymore. So cover them in a blanket of pink and gold light. That's simply unconditional love. And bless them and move on. Move into your truth. That person who felt it was necessary to criticize or judge you believes sincerely that they have the least to offer and you have the most to offer. And they're hoping that if they can keep you from that truth, that somehow they'll be able to stay one step ahead of you and people will still acknowledge them. You don't need to live in that place of fear. You are perfect just the way you are. I want you to learn to fly on the wings of unconditional love. Love is what's going to provide your safety. Again, it's not romantic love. It's unconditional love. Support from God that you achieve by aligning all of yourselves, your spiritual self, your mental, emotional self, and your physical self, lining all of the selves up with God's vision for you, and you will understand how powerful and magnificent you really are, because now you're aligning with your highest good. And then you can take that even further and recognize that not only do you want the highest good for yourself, but you want the highest good for all. And now you have become a beacon, a shining light in the world. And not only will you light the way for others, you will call unto yourself other ways to become even more filled with light until you are overflowing in everything of value. And this includes your physical well-being, health, wealth, relationships, freedom. God doesn't say, oh, I really love the fact that you have understood finally who you are. Oh, goody, now just starve to death. God stays in perfect balance. God recognizes that you need to feed yourself, have somewhere to live and clothing to wear, in addition to fulfilling your life purpose. Please don't mix the ego judgment up with what is real and truthful. Archangel Michael already cleaved that ego in two. Your authentic self emerged and wrapped itself in the cloak of who you really are. Stand proud and tall, knowing that you are more than enough. If you want help, if you feel that you can't do this alone, that you need even more support, I'm here to help you, and I'm delighted to help you. I offer a complimentary consultation, and it's open to the first 3 people that schedule. I will ask you some qualifying questions, but I am delighted to help you. This is not a free service. You're hiring me to work with you, to coach you, to help you attain more happiness, greater freedom, greater well-being in all areas of your life. And in addition to that, if you feel that you don't want to do something quite that comprehensive or something with that level of commitment, because it is a commitment in time and in resources, we have a community, a Healing Hearts community. It's hosted on Patreon. It is also a membership site, so this is not something free. But go to my website, marciamartinthehearthealer.com, Marcia spelled M-A-R-C-I-A, marciamartinthehearthealer.com. You will find many free resources, and you will have to do the work on your own. You also have the option of working one-on-one with me or joining our community on Patreon. Everything is there for you on the website, and I am so grateful that you chose to spend this day with me. it has been my great joy and my sincere honor to be here with you. And I'm delighted when I've been rereading my blogs over the past 4 years. I've been channeling these blogs and been doing a little cleanup work on getting them ready. We're going to put them in a different format. And there is such a wealth of information there. It's all free, accessible to anyone. However, if you want help, help is available to you as well. Go to my website, Marcia, M-A-R-C-I-A, Marcia Martin, thehearthealer.com. And until next Sunday, I'm sending you all my love.
You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. You can check out who's on, when we're on, and who our guests are at angelheartradio.com. Everything is there. It's all just one click away. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools to help you in your life and your life experience. They are not intended, nor should they, be used to replace your medical or legal advice. The views expressed by hosts, co-hosts, callers, guests, and associates should not be construed as advice from Angel Heart Radio.